So we know if we're going to hit our business imperative, that the human imperative is essential, it's critical. And the human imperative, it's the thinking and the actions necessary to deliver on what the business needs. How do we then best influence, in fact, change the thinking and actions of those around us, of those we lead? Hello everyone, I'm Craig Ross, CEO of Verisk Global. Over the last 25 years, as we've served organizations and leaders around the world, one of the things that we've found to be important and true everywhere we go is that there are 5 facets. We're going to call them facets, much like a diamond has facets. There are 5 facets, 5 approaches that leaders and individuals, team members can take to affect a change in the thinking and actions of others. In this series of 5 videos, we're going to cover those 5 facets, those 5 approaches, so that we can collectively, you and I, more effectively accomplish those changes in thinking and actions necessary to impact the business. In this first video, we're going to talk about the direct facet, being direct with others. You know, if there's one approach that gets a bad rap, it's the direct approach. Because when we say be direct, it can connote for many people a telling, a command, a mandate. And yet, if we peel back the layers, the direct approach can be so much more when we utilize it in a certain way. Let me explain. Years ago, with one of my 4 children, I was speaking with a child psychologist actually, and this child psychologist said, you know what, interesting thing about children, wherever you set boundaries, they're going to push against those boundaries. And if the boundaries are out here, they're going to push against them. If they're here, they're going to push against them. What I learned in that discussion is that the human brain needs boundaries. It needs to understand what are the boundaries, the expectations, those guidelines, if you will, so I know what my reality is in moving forward. The adult brain is not any different. And so the direct facet takes that wisdom and puts it into action with a 3-step process. We call it the 3 Ds. Yeah, it's where we declare and direct and define what's important. What's important? What has to happen here? Number 2, why is that important? Why does this have to happen? Now, if we stop there, that's not unlike what we see occurring in a lot of businesses, where people are saying, hey, this has to happen, and here's why. That 3rd step in this 3D discussion then really becomes critical. It's where we create co-discovery and a co-ownership for those guidelines that we're establishing. How do we do that? We ask a co-discover question. And not your typical boilerplate questions such as, how are you going to do it? When's it going to happen? What resources do we need? All important questions, but this time we're going to ask what we call a higher class of questions. There are 5 classes of questions. Questions that activate and clarify purpose, the purpose of this path forward. There's the vision questions, motivation, accountability, and objective questions. The 3D discussion allows us to then better set directions. It allows us to be direct, to be the leader and the teammate we know we need to be. Hey, this is the direction we have to go, here's why, and now let me ask you a higher class of questions so we can operate in those guidelines, so we can co-create those boundaries together. If you're interested in those 5 classes of questions, email me at craig@veriskglobal.com. I'll send you a complimentary copy with examples of what those 5 classes of questions. It's our responsibility to be direct. And when we are direct and do so in effective ways, we bring out the best in others and our relationship with them for the sake of moving our business forward. Here we go.